I've got a little lesson for you today. If you've got a bushing here in the back of your crank, you always want to check this before you do an install. If you look over here, you'll see we got the nub on the torque converter way too big for the bushing that's in there. So if you go to try to stab it, you're going to have a problem. I've seen guys actually try to stab it and force it and just tighten the bolts here, and they actually bust off part of the block. So be aware if that's in there. I'm going to show you a couple different ways on how to do it. Here's a few of them we've taken out. I've thrown tons and tons away. We've done a bunch of them. There's guys that will take some grease or some bread, or I think I've done it with newspaper. Basically, you just kind of fill it up, pack it in there, and you can take something and just smack it, and the pressure will just slowly pull it out. Very frustrating. It is possible to do it that way. I've done it that way a few times before. I'm going to show you my most common way I do it now. It's fast, it's easy. One of my most satisfying ways of doing it though, and I don't recommend this, but it worked really good, especially if you've got one that is just stuck in there, is I'll take a nut, a big nut and a bolt, and I'll actually weld the nut to the bushing itself. And then all you have to do is tighten the bolt, and as the bolt tightens, it'll pull the bushing out. That's satisfying, especially when you're wrestling with one. But I don't do it that way anymore unless I've got a real stubborn one. The way I do it right now, take a couple of these different things, put a little wedge on it, and I'll put it right in between the back of the crank and where the bushing starts. I take me a big old hammer. Let's give it a good smack. You can see it's starting to move. And sometimes I'll jump around to a different spot, pop it out as much as I can with this one, and then I'll come in with a different one. This one I call the finisher.
Finish him!
Usually I can jump right into this one and I can pop it all the way out. So it just takes a few minutes. When I first started doing this, I was cutting them out, using grease and knocking them out. It would take me 20, 30, 40 minutes. And now, usually just a couple minutes. So I highly recommend giving that a try. Just make yourself a tool. Thickness is helpful. When you first start it off, you want to have something that's got something that can wedge to get it moving. Once you get it moving, you're good. Once you get towards the end, you're going to need something a little thicker. Not necessarily this thick, but just to pop it the rest of the way out. If you don't have something that's quite thick enough to pop it out, I've actually taken the edge of this and kind of hit it around to where it just pops it out slowly. But ultimately, having the finisher was the best. So this is my process. Hopefully it helps you. If you have any tips or if you have any tricks on doing it, I would love to hear it. Again, this is Dave with Hemi Garage Hacks. We'll see you on the next one.